Hello, everyone. Nice to see you here. Welcome to the third episode of our IP webinar series titled Patent Filing Trends in Southeast Asia. Again, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us today. This webinar is hosted by Taliki and Gibbons. In case any one of you are not too familiar with our firm, we are a full-service law firm with an extensive reach in Southeast Asia, spanning 6 regional offices in Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Indonesia, and Myanmar. Providing insights on the webinar topic today are our Senior Patent Executive from Vietnam, Ms. An Tung Win, Ms. Melinda Amrizal, our IP consultant from Indonesia, and myself, Adirik Sriwatanasit, an IP consultant from our Thailand office. Before we begin, if you have any questions, please make sure that you input your questions in the Q&A box. Please abstain from putting in your questions into the chat box. Without further ado, let's start with our perspectives on Thailand. Okay, now we start with the patent filing trends in Thailand, where we try to unlock the meaning behind the patent statistics of 2018 to 2022. Please note that the data, or shall we say the graphs that you see here, have been created from the statistical data obtained from the Thai Department of Intellectual Property, or DIP, and the World Intellectual Property Organization for the 5-year period. The agenda consists of the following: the patent applications filed for all technical fields, patents granted for all technical fields, patent applications filed across all international patent classifications or IPCs, patent applications filed by geographical origin of applicants, and finally, patents granted by geographical origin of applicants. First, we have the patent applications filed for all technical fields. As you can see by the green trend line here, there has been a gradual increase in patent applications filed at an average rate of 3.1%. Most of the rise were driven by the filing of invention patents, with only around 25 to 30% of the filings being petty patents or utility models. In 2020, which was the height of the pandemic, there was a 4.4% plunge in filings. A recovery could be seen in 2021 with a 9.3% surge, and this was possibly due to the rise in pharmaceuticals and medical innovations. Now, a sharp fall in growth could be observed in 2022 to 0.4%, despite this year showing, despite 2022 showing the highest number of patent applications filed throughout the whole 5 years. Next, we have the patents granted for all technical fields. From the red trend line, we can see that there has been a slow downward trend in patents granted at an average rate of 0.1%. Spikes in growth were observed in 2018 and 2020 at 22.6% and 17.7% respectively. We could see drops in 2019 and 2022 in patents granted at 20.4% each. The number of patents granted held steady in 2021 relative to 2020, as is obvious from the 0% growth in 2021. Combining the first 2 graphs, we get this consolidated graph of patent applications filed versus patents granted. Here we have calculated that the average rate of patents being granted is around 40%. This is compared to the influx of patent applications being filed at any given time. This number, 40%, simply means that there have been more applications filed than granted during the past 5 years. Now, we see the pie chart for patent applications filed across all IPCs. The highest filings were related to IPCA, which is for human necessities and includes pharmaceuticals and medical devices at 26.1%. IPCs B for performing operations and C, chemistry or metallurgy, came in second and third at 22% and 19% respectively. At fourth place is IPCG, which is they call here G as being physics, but it also consists mainly of computing systems. This particular IPC saw 11% of patent applications filed under it. Bringing up the rear is IPCD, which relates to textiles and paper, at 2.6% of patent application filings for the 5 years. Now, the distribution that we saw in the pie chart previously is replicated here when we zoom into the IPCs in more detail. We can observe filing surges in the medical, metallurgy, and the fields of foodstuffs. Coming in fourth is the IPC code number G06 for computing, or rather computer-related innovations. Now, when you consider the current growth in AI and computer-related innovations and inventions, this could potentially be an area for growth. Put a pin in that, we'll circle right back to it in our outlook. Next, we go to the patent applications filed by geographical origin of applicants. This pie chart shows the distribution of these patent filings. We will focus mainly on 5 key countries, namely China, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, and United States. This is mainly because these countries as a whole, they collectively make up around 70% of all patent applications filed between 2018 and 2022. From this yellow slice here, we can say that Japan takes the lion's share of patent applications filed, followed by the United States, Thailand, China, and South Korea in that order. Based on this line graph, we can see that filings by Japanese applicants dipped the lowest compared to other countries during COVID time, which is 2020 and perhaps 2021 as well. The post-COVID recovery for Japanese applicants when it comes to patent filings declined by 12% and 19% relative to 2019. In contrast, patent filings by US applicants jumped by 62% in 2022 compared to 2018. The highest surge was seen in filings by Chinese applicants at 266% in 2022 compared to 2018. This indicates that Chinese applicants are becoming a major player and perhaps a contender for second place currently held by the US applicants. Korean patent filings, or rather patent filings by Korean applicants, showed a moderate increase of 35% in 2022 compared to 2018. When it comes to patent filings by Thai applicants, the trend is mostly flat, with a 15% dip in 2022 compared to 2018. Finally, we go to the patents granted by geographical origin of applicants. From these orange bars, we can say that the patents granted for Japanese applicants are the highest, but shows a steady decline over 5 years. The patents granted for Japanese applicants sharply declined by 55% in 2022 from the highest peak in 2018. Granted patents for US and Korean applicants seem to be going in the same direction and fell by 32% and 47% from their highest points. Chinese applicants saw their patents granted at a low rate of 26% in 2022 compared to 2020. Thai applicants bucked the trend with a 72% increase in patents granted since 2018. Based on the graphs that we have seen beforehand, we may pose the question as to what is the outlook for Thailand in terms of patent filings and innovations. Firstly, we can project that there could be a pharmaceutical boom over the next several years. This is because there has been a high number of Thai patent applications being filed for in the medical and pharmaceutical fields, which all fall under the IPC code number the A61. This indicates that Thailand is one of the main regional hubs for pharmaceutical companies, whether foreign or local, to launch and develop their commercial and IP interests. Secondly, we can see a continued positive impact of the Patent Prosecution Highway, or PPH, which is currently in place between the Japanese Patent Office and the Thai DIP. We have seen in the previous charts that there has been a declining, that the number of patent filings by Japanese applicants have been declining in Thailand between 2018 and 2022. However, filings by Japanese applicants have outstripped the other four countries, mainly due to the existing PPH. The time and cost efficiency of the PPH could help the patent filings by Japanese applicants to maintain their peak despite the decline. Thirdly, we come to the IPC code number G06, as stated before. This particular code relates to the computing systems field and other computer-related innovations. This particular field could be a white space for the main reasons. The Thai digital economy grew by an average of 14% in 2022, as stated by the Thai Digital Economy Promotion Agency. And the global information and communications technology sector expanded by an average of 6.3% from 2013 to 2023, as cited by the OECD. Based on the statistical data, we can state that or conclude that the G06 field is a white space gap. And wherever there's a gap, we can see opportunity. And this opportunity is mainly for more focused innovations, greater infrastructural developments, and more, or rather an increase in patent application filings in the computing systems field in Thailand. Finally, we can also conclude that the Chinese presence in the patent filing landscape in Thailand would be increasing. This is because patent filings by Chinese applicants have been catching up with patent filings by US applicants in Thailand during the 5-year period. Moreover, the Chinese applicants have showed the highest increase in Thai patent filings at over 200% during that same period. The Chinese applicants, based on these findings, we can say that the Chinese applicants could overtake U.S. applicants in terms of patent application filings, and maybe also in patent grants over the near future. That's all for my presentation. Over to you, Ms. Antu.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Antu Nguyen, and I am a senior patent executive at Thailand and Gibbin, Vietnam. Today, I would like to present. It's my pleasure to share with all of you the patent filing trends in Vietnam based on the statistics for 2018 to 2022. First of all, please allow me to introduce the content of this presentation. In this presentation, we would like to provide the statistics for both patent application filed and granted in Vietnam during 2018 to 2022 for all fields. The statistics for application filing based on the top two IPCs and the statistics for both patent application filed and granted by geographical origin of applicants: China, Japan, Korea, the United States of America, and Vietnam. Some of the statistics we obtained from the annual report of the Intellectual Property Office of Vietnam, and other we searched by ourselves. In Vietnam, patent applications are divided into two types, which include patent application for invention and patent application for utility solution. The main differences between invention and utility solutions in Vietnam are requirements of patentability and period of protection. Namely, the subject matter being claimed in the invention must be novel, inventive and industrial applicable, while the subject matter being claimed in the utility solution must be novel and industrial applicable only. The period of protection is 20 years for patent for invention and 10 years for patent for utility solution. As you can see from the chart, most applications filed in Vietnam were patent application for invention. During 2018 to 2022, the number of patent applications for utility solution changed slowly and accounted for a small proportion, which was approximately 6% to 9% based on the total number of patent applications. On the contrary, the change in number of patent applications for invention during 2018 to 2022 was considerable. In particular, the number of patent applications for invention was 6,071 in 2018 and increased by nearly 44% to 8,707 in 2022. Looking at the chart, most patents granted in Vietnam were patents for invention. During 2018 to 2022, the number of patents granted on a utility solution decreased gradually, which was approximately 6% to 13% based on the total number of patents. Meanwhile, the change in the number of patents granted on invention during 2018 to 2022 was considerable. In particular, the number of patents granted on invention was 2,219 in 2018 and increased by nearly 64% to 3,868 in 2022. There was a spike in the total number of patents in 2020, doubling the amount compared to 2018. However, in general, the number of patents granted in Vietnam in 2022 increased again, and the total number of patents granted remained much higher than 5 years ago. Now we will start with the data relating to the patent application filing during 2018 to 2022 based on the top 2 IPC. Please note that the statistics on this slide and the next 2 slides includes the statistics for both invention and utility solution. In Vietnam, we choose 2 IPCs, A61 and A04, which belong to the top 2 IPC with the highest number of patent application filings. A61 cover medical or veterinary science and hygiene fields, and A04 cover electric communication technical fields. The 2 IPCs also had almost no possibility of overlapping each other when obtaining the data. Looking at the chart, patent application filing based on top 2 IPCs constituted 28% in 2018, climbed rapidly and reached 37% on 2022 in comparison with the total number of patent application filings. In general, during 2018 to 2022, the patent application based on A61 rules, increasing by 25% in 5 years. Meanwhile, the patent application related to electric communication technique field have seen exponential growth, increasing almost 2.5 times its original amount. This is consistent with the fact that we are moving into the digital communication age with a wave of new technology trends, many of which can be protected under patents in many countries in the world. The technology of electric communication technique field indicated by the IPC 804 is most found in the sector of audio-visual technologies, telecommunication, and digital communication. These are statistics based on geographical origin of applicants. We are interested in the data on patent application originating from IP5 countries. Due to the characteristic of the database system in Vietnam, it is difficult for us to obtain data on application originating from Europe. Thus, we proceed with the data for 4 countries in the IP5, that is China, Japan, Korea, and the United States of America. And we made the comparison between them and Vietnam as well. In the period from 2018 to 2021, the number of patent applications originating in 5 countries above account for 71% to 76% of the total number of applications. The total number of remaining applications originating from other countries is relatively low, from 24% to 29%. The number of Japanese applications has been relatively stable over the years and ranked first among 5 countries during 2018 to 2021. In 2022, the US has risen to be the countries with the largest number of applications. Meanwhile, the number of Chinese applications increased markedly, double and reached a peak on 2021, and then slightly decreased in 2022. Similarly, the number of US application in this period of time also grew significantly. It hit its highest value in 2022, which was increased to 2.6 times compared to the value in 2018. The number of career applications increased by 8.5% and 40.2% in 2020 and 2021, respectively, and then reduced by 18.4% in 2022. The number of career applications and the number of Vietnamese applications were quite similar during this time, except that in 2020, the number of Vietnam applications is 33.9% higher than the number of career applications. Now we will go to the last part of the presentation about the patent granted during 2018 to 2022 by the geographical origin of applicant. Similar to the patent application, the number of patents from 5 countries was very large, constituting 73 to 77% of the total number of patents. The number of patents originating from Japan accounted for the largest proportion, up to 35% of the total number of patents. Among these countries, Japan is currently the leading country with the number of patents. The United States of America ranked second, and followed by Korea, China, and Vietnam. As you know, at present, the Vietnam IP office has 2 PPA programs with the Japan Patent Office and the Korean Intellectual Property Office to accelerate the substantive examination of patent application. Now, we will talk about the outlook in Vietnam. The number of patent applications filed in Vietnam has been constantly increasing year by year, especially patent applications based on 2 IPC A61 and 804. Which relate to pharmaceutical patent application, Rayleigh communication network, pictorial communication, and transmission digital information, and transmission field. They accounted for a large proportion, about 37% of the total number of patent applications filed in Vietnam. The number of patent applications on IPC 804 has seen exponential growth, increasing almost 2.5 times over 5 years. 5 countries, including Japan, the United States of America, China, Korea, and Vietnam, account for 71% to 76% of the total filed application. In general, the number of patent applications filed and patent granted originating from Japan ranked the first among the countries. The number of patent applications originating from China was markedly increased. This trend demonstrates the interest of companies originating from these countries and operating in the sectors, especially foreign companies, by expanding and developing their presence in Vietnam market. One of the key factors that influence the foreign company to consider filing a patent application in country is the effectiveness of the intellectual property right enforcement within that countries. Over the years, the enforcement of intellectual property right in Vietnam has increasingly been strengthened, as so by statistics of cases handled by competent authorities. According to the Deputy of the Intellectual Property Office, from 2018 to September of 2021, over 16,000 industrial property rights infringement cases were detected, resulting in a fine of over 150 billion Vietnamese dollars. Thus, it can be said that the efficiency of enforcement of intellectual property rights in Vietnam has been increasingly improved. This serves as a positive factor for foreign companies, encourage them to increase the number of patent applications in Vietnam. This is the end of my presentation. Next is the presentation of my colleague, Ms. Melinda from Indonesia office.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Melinda Amrizal. I'm an IP consultant from Teliki and Gibbons Indonesia office. Today, I will present patent filing trends in Indonesia. This is the points that will be discussed in my presentation. The first point is about patent application filings in Indonesia during 2018 to 2022 for all technical fields. Second is patents granted in Indonesia during 2018 until 2022 for all technical fields. And then patent application filing in Indonesia during 2018 to 2022 based on top 3 IPCs. And then patent application filed in Indonesia during 2018 to 2022 by geographical origin of applicants, US, Japan, Korea, China, and Indonesia. And the last point is patents granted in Indonesia during 2018 to 2022 by geographical origin of applicants from the US, Japan, Korea, China, and Indonesia. Well, the data source that I obtained for the statistic came from the DJIP's patent database and also the DJIP's annual report in 2022. Well, the following are statistics on patent application filings in Indonesia during 2018 to 2022. From the statistic, we can see that the trend of patent filings in Indonesia tend to increase from 2018 to 2022. Except in 2020, where the COVID-19 pandemic occurred. In 2019, there was a fairly large growth rate in the number of patent applications, which is around 13.25%. However, there was a decline in the growth rate of the number of patent applications in 2020 for almost 10%. And then in 2021 and 2022, there was a fairly good increase in the number of patent applications, where the growth rate was around 12.69% and 8.32%. Okay, next I will talk about patents granted in Indonesia. Based on statistics on granted patents in Indonesia during 2018 to 2022, we can see that the highest number of patents granted occurred in 2019, which is around 67.19%. Meanwhile, the growth rate of patents granted continues to decline in the following years. The lowest growth rate for patents granted occurred in 2022 at around 32.97%. This decline in the number of patents granted was partly influenced by the COVID-19 pandemic. Another factor is that the human resources, especially in the number of patent examiners at the GIP who carry out substantive examination, are still inadequate. Okay, let's move to the next slide regarding patent application filing in Indonesia based on top 3 IPC. The following are statistics on patent application filing in Indonesia with the top 3 IPCs, namely IPC A61, H04, and C12. We can see that the number of patent applications with IPC A61 is the largest among the 3 IPCs, and the growth rate continues to increase from 2018 to 2022, which is around 9.13% in 2022. While for IPC H04, the growth rate of the number of patent applications increased by around 39.27% in 2019, but fell by around 21.65% in 2020. However, the growth rate increased in 2021 and jumped to around 40.91% in 2022. Meanwhile, for IPC C12, the growth rate in the number of patent applications continued to increase from 2019 to 2021 at around 18%, but decreased in 2022 at around 9.50%. The three IPC subclasses that contributed the most to the number of patent applications in Indonesia during 2018 to 2022 were IPC C12N, IPC 004W, and IPC A61K. Well, IPC C12N contributed around 57.32% of the total patent filings with IPC C12 during 2018 to 2022. And then IPC SO4W, which is wireless communication networks, contributed around 41.94% of the total patent filings with IPC SO4 during 2018 to 2022. And then the last IPC A61K for the preparation for medical, dental, or toiletry purposes contributed around 48.73% of the total patent filings with IPC A61 during 2018 to 2022. Well, this is the statistic of the patent application file in Indonesia by geographical origin of applicants. From the statistic, we can see that the patent filings by US applicants decreased by around 7.11% in 2019 and around 24.49% in 2020, but experienced a gradual increase in 2021 and 2022, around 14.25% to 30.89%. For Japanese applicants, there was a continuous decline in number of patent applications in Indonesia during 2018 to 2022 by 1.21% to 4.48%. For Korean applicants, there has been a decrease in the number of patent applications from 2019 to 2021 of around 5.69%, but increased by around 15.33% in 2022. Patent filings by Chinese applicants continue to increase, surging approximately 56.08% in 2019. Meanwhile, for Indonesian applicants, experienced a significant increase in the number of patent applications, around 40.66% in 2019, but decreased in 2020 of around 17.77%. This is the final points about patents granted in Indonesia by geographical origin of applicants. Based on the statistic, the highest number of patents granted in Indonesia occurred in 2019 and were filed by Japanese applicants, followed by the US and Indonesian applicants. Since June 2013, the IP Office of Japan and Indonesia have had bilateral cooperation to accelerate patent examination through the PPH program, so that the number of patents granted filed by the Japanese applicants is the highest among other countries during 2018 to 2022. However, the number of patents granted to Japanese applicants as well as US and Chinese applicants continue to decline from 2020 to 2022. Meanwhile, the trend in the number of patents granted filed by Korean and Indonesia applicants tends to fluctuate. As an outlook of my presentation, I can conclude that during 2018 to 2022, Indonesia received approximately 62,669 applications for patents and simple patents, with a significant increase of 1,080 applications in 2022 alone compared to the previous 5 years. This surge was largely driven by foreign applicants from the United States, Europe, Japan, China, and South Korea. What is noteworthy is that the significant increase in the number of patent applications from Chinese applicants, reflecting China growing interest in Indonesia. In addition, although dominated by foreign applicants, the number of patent applications filed by domestic applicants remains significant, which is around 34% of the total patent filings in 2022. Additionally, based on the GIP's annual report of 2022, the top patent fillers in Indonesia in 2022 include several companies holding patents related to wireless communication technology, such as Qualcomm Incorporated and Vivo Mobile Communication Company Limited. And then Guangdong Burn Recycling Technology Company Limited and TVS Motor Company Limited are also among the top patent fillers in Indonesia for battery and vehicle technology. Apart from the foreign applicants, the top patent fillers originating from Indonesia are BRIN, National Research and Innovation Agency, and several local universities such as LPPM Universitas Andalas, Universitas Brawijaya, Universitas Diponegoro, Universitas Gadjah Mada, and Universitas Negeri Malang. These domestic applicants have some patents related to food technology, medical preparation, chemical-related technology, and others. So this is the end of my presentations. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you. Over to you, Kun Adirek.
Thank you very much, Melinda. And thank you very much, Antu. Your presentations were very enlightening and had a lot of useful information regarding patent filings, especially. I guess we all can agree on the fact that Chinese applicants are now becoming more prevalent in each of our jurisdictions. Now let me share my conclusions. Or rather, the takeaways for all of the three countries that we had just discussed. In regards to filings and grants, we can say that the patent filings are rising in all three jurisdictions. However, there's a slow decline in patent grants for Thailand and Indonesia. Vietnam is bucking this trend by showing an upward swing in patent grants. Most patents granted are for inventions rather than utility models. In relation to IPCs, we can conclude that patent applications in medical sciences and pharmaceuticals dominate the landscape in Thailand and Indonesia. However, the more popular technical field for patent filings in Vietnam happens to be the electrical communications field, which is represented by the IPC code number H04. As we had discussed earlier, the computing field is one of interest and opportunity in Thailand when it comes to more focused innovation. And finally, Japanese applicants are responsible for the bulk of patent filings in Vietnam and Thailand. That trend is reflected also in the number of patents granted. Local patent applications top the rankings in Indonesia with Japanese patent applicants coming in second for filings. The US patent applicants maintained the number 2 spot in Thailand for filings and grants. However, in Vietnam, the US applicants have the number 2 spot only for patent grants. In all three jurisdictions, Chinese applicants are emerging contenders in the categories of both patent filings and grants, and may overtake their major rivals, the US, within the next 2 or 3 years. My opinion, by the way. And in closing, I believe this is a very good session, and we have discussed a lot about the patent filing trends in the three jurisdictions of Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia. And thank you all for to our listeners and audience, and for taking the time to listen to this presentation, and for your very enlightening and insightful questions. We bid you goodbye for now, and a very good evening. Thank you.
Thank you and goodbye.